Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Get Fit with Me, expanding your physical and mental fitness group. This group is for individuals who are ready to expand their physical and mental fitness while helping others with similar goals, support each other, and achieve similar things all together. So, every week we go live, or sometimes it's just me up here, sometimes we have people on the screen, but every week we go live to talk about a training. Sometimes we talk about something more mental, sometimes we talk about something more physical, sometimes we do tutorials on equipment that we may have or that we've seen around the gym. So with that being the case, if you have seen the event post that I create, you will know that today is an equipment tutorial. I'm calling it Mini Bands 101 and a little mini band workout. So disclaimer here for any of you guys watching the replay on Facebook, drop a hashtag replay. If you want to disregard this video because you don't have bands, I encourage you not to. One, because bands are super beneficial for so many options, and two, because a lot of these moves that I'm going to teach you, you can do even without a band. So we're going to start working some of our muscles in a different way. We're going to do some lateral work. I'm going to teach you how to do some resistance training with our upper body. And all the moves I teach you today can be done with or without the band. And if you have bands, they travel super easy. So we're going to hit on a lot of different things today. Hey, Ed, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Hi, Julie. Thank you. So if you guys are excited to learn about mini bands or just the movements, if you don't have them, drop an excited in the comments to let me know that everything is going good and that you're pumped to be here. We are going to get started. So I am going to tell you, I'm going to talk for a little bit here in the beginning before we get moving. If you are at home watching the replay, or you're watching live with us on Facebook, I appreciate it. Make sure you're standing up. This is when I do tutorials, I like for all of us to move, not just myself up here with my antsy legs. So mini bands are important for a few reasons. First, they help strengthen the glutes and the hips, especially for runners and walkers and bikers. If you think about times when you are only working in this plane, then all that's happening is we are just overusing our forward motion muscles. So using bands helps incorporate us in a different lateral movements. Hi, Kennedy, thank you for being here. Another cool thing about bands is we can use them to also strengthen our shoulders. We can use them to help strengthen our triceps. We're gonna move through a bunch of moves that a lot of times we see these bands and we don't think very much of them. We think, oh, these are these big rubber bands that we could use for other purposes around the house rather than actually doing exercises with them. So other things that are awesome, you can help build strength. They help create some variety in your workouts. I know sometimes we get bored with the squats, the glute bridges, the shoulder presses, whatever it is. So with that being the case, it helps create some variety. Makes things a little more enjoyable when you start to get in that bored plateau of our workouts. It helps you learn control in your body, and it also teaches your mind and body to work together when performing a move. Funny thing is, it's very weird to think, but a lot of times when we perform movements, our body is not actually using the correct muscles, or it's not using all of the right muscles. So bands are a great way to recruit the right muscles in our body. So because Kennedy is on here, I do have a question if she is able to talk. Do you currently have mini bands? If you are watching on Facebook, let me know, do you have bands or are you going without?
I do have bands.
Hello. Okay, so, and you are not Kennedy, I can tell by the voice.
That is correct. I'm logged in on Kennedy's account. My apologies.
Okay, so we have bands, perfect. So you're gonna be moving through our band movements just as if I'm teaching them. For all you guys who don't have bands, still perform the movements. It's still really good to learn the form before we add resistance. When we have our mini bands, we have probably multiple options. You probably have a heavier one, you have a medium one, you have a lighter one, you maybe have an extra light one that feels like nothing, and you may have an extra heavy one that you can't even budge. So with that being the case, I always tell people start off with the lighter band you have. Just like the analogy is, I'm not going to put a 30-pound dumbbell above my head if I can't put a 25-pound dumbbell above my head first. So keep that in mind. Always start with your lowest resistance and move up as you feel like you need to progress. And if you ever need help with that, drop a help in the comments if something sounds confusing, and I'll make sure to get that question answered or reach out to you after. So let's get started. We have 8 moves today. We have 2 little workouts. It's gonna be in total about 13 minutes long. And all of the moves we perform in our workout are gonna be moves that I teach you. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with my light band, just like I told you guys. We are gonna take that band. You can either stand and put it on, or you can sit down and put it on. We're gonna make sure we put it around our shin. So something about a band, we never want it to be on our joints itself. So you never want it on the knee joint, you never want it on the ankle joint. You want it on a sturdy bone, and sturdy muscle. We're gonna do a lateral walk. So what this looks like is my feet are face forward. This is usually what I see. I see us leaning forward with our butt out. I want us to stand up with a slight bend in our knees, hips tucked, core is nice and tight, and we're gonna step and bring that foot back to center. So from the side, you can see I have nice, good form. My core is tight. Now from the front, this is what I see usually. I see a nice snap of the foot. We don't want that. We want together, toes pointed forward each and every time. So what this is doing is this is activating those hips. This is strengthening those little hip muscles. This is also activating your glutes. So we have a member in this group, her name is April. She is a runner, and she just started using bands about 4 weeks ago, and she sees a huge improvement in her hip stability and her glute strength just from using these bands. So these are called lateral walks. If you don't have bands, same concept, hips tucked, core tight, standing up nice and straight, slight bend in our knees, and I want you to move through this. And you'll start to feel just kind of being in this athletic stance. You're going to feel it through those hips even without that band. Perfect. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will be watching. And Kelly, if you have any questions, let me know by just unmuting yourself. And if I don't have questions, I'm going to move on to the next exercise. So exercise number 2, you're going to keep your band in the same position, which means about mid-shin. If it's comfortable, a little higher or a little lower, go for it, as long as it's just never on a joint. We're gonna do zigzag walks. Zigzag walks, imagine you have paint on your feet as you're moving across the floor. So if you were to look back behind you, you could see a nice little zigzag pattern. So hips are tucked, core is tight. Same thing, even if you don't have bands, take a step to your right and then bring that foot together. Step to your left, bring your foot together. I do sometimes see, let me scooch back. I do sometimes see a little swing to get that band out. We don't want to swing. We want to keep it nice and stable, keeping our toes pointed forward. Nice little squat position. So once we get forward, you have 2 options. You can either turn around and go forward again, or if you want to work on some of your balance and coordination, you're then going to step backwards. This is where your toes are going to want to point out. So really think about keeping our toes straight as we step back and do a reverse zigzag. So you're coming back through that zigzag on zigzag on the ground that you just created. So we have our lateral walks, which are our side to sides, and we have our zigzag walks. Always bring our feet together, toes staying forward, hips tucked, core tight. Remember, we don't want that butt out. We want butt tucked. Perfect. Questions? Awesome. Let's now keep that band on. We're going to move this up to either right above your knees or right below your knees. So we're going to be doing some squats and glute bridges. If you know you do not perform a squat or a glute bridge very well yet because you're just learning, that's okay. I do encourage you not to use a band and just perform the movement that way. Before we add any weight or resistance to our body, we should be able to perform the movement with just our body weight. I like to bring the band up above my knees. I find it more comfortable, and it is just a little bit easier because you have a little bit more fat and muscle on your upper legs than you do your lower legs. So first off, I am gonna have you guys all start, if you have a chair, start seated so that you know where your knees and your toes are pointing. Knees and toes should point the same way. Our knees are gonna wanna fall in because that's what the band wants to do. So I want you to press your knees open. So there's tension on this band. Already sitting here, I can feel my glutes start to activate because my legs are working against that tension. Next, I'm gonna have you push through your heels, stand and squeeze your butt. And then you're gonna slowly lower back down. If you do sit to stand with the band and you're like, these are easy, I'm gonna have you walk away from your chair or your bench. Make sure your knees and toes are pointed the same way. We're gonna engage our core. We should always engage our core when we lower and exhale on our breath as we stand. We're gonna press our knees out and stand on up. This is what wants to happen. This is what should happen. So when we're doing that squat, the more you press out on that band, usually means you can sit a little bit lower. I find that the tension allows you to kind of trust your balance to fall backwards. It's always when it's nice to have a bench or a stool, just in case you go lower than what you think your body can hold. So when we are doing those squats, toes and knees should always point the same direction, just like any other bodyweight squat. Press against that band, squeeze those glutes and stand on up. Perfect. So when we are ready, we're gonna move down to the ground for our glute bridge. This is gonna be our fourth lower body exercise. We had our laterals, we had our zigzags, we had our squats, and now we're gonna move into glute bridges. So when we do a glute bridge, same thing I just said about the squats. If a glute bridge is challenging enough without a band, start with the glute bridge itself. If you would like a little bit more challenge, a resistance band is perfect. You're gonna keep it up above the knees, just like or right below the knees, as long as it's not on that joint. We don't want those heels tucked all the way into the butt, but we don't want them way out here. So find a nice about 90-degree bend. A lot of times when we lay here, we get this big arch in our back that I can stick my hand all the way through and wave at you guys. We want to tilt our hips, tuck your pelvis, press that lower back into the ground, core is nice and tight. From here, I'm gonna push through my heels, squeeze my butt, and lift. We're gonna first start with that. I will give a little bit of a fun twist after, but I want us to just first work on the core activation. When we lift, we should never lift to our full extent, if that makes sense. So you wanna lift as high as you can while keeping that core tight. So maybe that's here, maybe that's a big lift. Whatever that is, a lot of times we overextend, which creates that arch in that lower back, which makes it actually not a glute exercise anymore, makes it a lower back kind of pinching feeling. We don't want that. So let's lay down, rotate our hips, press our lower back into the ground. Let's press through our heels and lift and squeeze and come all the way back down. Resetting with that lower back, core is tight. We're just gonna do a few of these. How are all these feeling? Any funkiness going on? Something doesn't feel right, you can always walk your feet out a half an inch or walk them in. Everybody's body is different. If you would like to add a twist to this, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go up into the glute bridge. Your knees, while you are up, are gonna pulse out about a half an inch only. Like they don't need to come all the way out. You can go all the way out, you need a tighter band. You're gonna come up, out about a half an inch, back into your starting position and drop our hips down. I'm gonna try to turn this way so you guys can see me a little better. So I'm here, hips tucked, lower back pressed in. I'm going to press up. You're gonna watch my knees come out about a half an inch, back to starting, and then drop my hips down. What this is doing is it's extra activating these outside glute muscles. We technically have 3 big glute muscles back there that sometimes one likes to take over the other. Good. Perfect. You guys can slip that band off and slowly sit yourself on up. Do we have any questions pertaining to the lower body before we move to the fun upper body exercises?
How often, or how many times a week would you recommend doing these exercises?
So it kind of depends on the person. I like to say if you have bands for our glutes, if you know you're going to be doing a lot of running, doing them daily, a little bit before your run is a good time to warm up those glutes and get our lateral motion warmed up. If you are just someone who works out kind of leisurely and you don't have any like, I want to do this and this, you don't have huge like intense goals, doing them at least once a week is a great way to just create some muscle memory in the body. So Kelly, I know you like to run and walk. So with that being the case, like doing them before your longer days and you like to run, walk, is probably going to be beneficial. Or days when we do lots of biking, things like that.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Perfect. So let's move on to upper body. I was going to mention, if you don't have mini bands and you have just one of these long ones, maybe yours has handles, you can also tie this and still do those same exercises, just probably going to feel a little bit more uncomfortable. So keep that in mind that you can make a big resistance band into a mini by just tying it. I have a few clients that are like that they don't have minis, they just have their big ones, and we just tie them, and it's not a big deal. Upper body moves can be performed with this as well. I will show you how at the end, but we are going to stick with the minis because that is the topic of today. So first one we're going to do is tricep press downs. So your tricep is going to be the back of your arm. That's going to be the motion as you press yourself up out of a chair, or you do a push up and you're pressing yourself up. A lot of times we struggle with activating our chest in a push up, that our triceps end up doing most of the work. That's why our arms get tired during practicing push-ups than our chest does, because it's hard to activate those chest muscles. So we're gonna take that left hand, wrap our hand through the loop, place it on our chest. My right elbow is locking into my body. So I'm starting off here. I have a little bit of tension. It's not all floppy. I'm then going to keep my hips tucked, core is tight. I want nice athletic position, so always have a slight bend in your knees. If you are at home, still practice this motion. Get set up for this. So if you have a band, you can still move through once you get some, if you choose to. So we're here, you're gonna press straight down, keeping our elbow nice and tight, and then slowly come up. I like to take my hand that's on top and really just press it into my chest. If not, it will start to wander. Yours may too. So I like to push it in. We're going down and controlled. We don't want to snap up because you could hit your face, but we also want nice, slow, and controlled both ways. If it takes you 3 seconds to move that down, hold for a second, 3 seconds on the way up. As everyone with a mini band switches, I'm going to grab the resistance band and show you exactly how you can do it if you have a normal. So I'm going to switch. I'm now going to have my right hand. I doubled up my band. My right hand's on my chest. The closer my hands are, the harder it's going to be. I'm going to go about right here. Left elbow's locked in. I'm going to press straight down and come back up. Let's say your mini band is super weak. You only have the lightest mini band around. That's okay. All you're going to do is double it or kind of fold it so it gets a little bit tighter. You can fold and kind of roll it to a point where your hands can be in it. Like this right here is almost impossible to move. So you can kind of play with it and get a good resistance on it. You can bring your hand, instead of putting it down here, you can bring it up higher. Things like that. So think about a rubber band. The tighter the rubber band is, the harder it's going to be to move. The more stretched out it is, the easier. So think about that if you feel like if you don't have enough variety in your mini bands, how you can make it easier and harder. Okay, number 2. So we did tricep press downs on each side. Next one we have is going to be bent over rows. Before we even use this, I'm going to have you guys take your hands, bring them up to 90 degrees at your sides. Fingers are nice and loose. We have a nice athletic stance here, and I want you to extend your arms so they're almost locked out. I don't want to lock them. So they're almost locked out, and then pull your elbows back and try to squeeze them together. This is the motion that we are going to mimic. The only difference is you're going to take a resistance band and we're going to wrap it around our wrist or the outside of our hand here and create pressure. So a real row would be us pushing our hips back and going through the motion like this with a nice straight line from your head to your tailbone. That's not, maybe we haven't mastered the hinge motion yet. Maybe this is what we do when we bend over. That's okay. I want you to stay upright like this. If you feel like you've mastered the hinge motion, hinge just a little bit, straight line from head to tailbone, and we'll move through that motion there. So grab your band. I like to go right here. Some people like to go on their wrists. I like to go kind of right here by my thumbs. From the front, our band is going to want to pull us this way. So we have to actively press out against that band the whole time. My shoulders, my triceps, all those little muscles are activated. From here, we are going to, let me shake it out. Ready? So let's press against that band, extend almost, and then bring back and squeeze. Your hands will probably start to shake. Nice and controlled, making sure we stay at 90 with our arms when we come back. A lot of times we'll curl up or we'll let them fall. From the front, so you can see what the whole time. If you struggle with this, take a look in the mirror. You can, or pull up your Zoom one of these days and practice in front of your Zoom. So this is what the band wants to look like. This is what I'm making it look like as I move through this motion. So nice strong engagement. If you're hinging, same thing. Nice strong engagement as we pull back and squeeze. Good. And our last one that we are going to do is going to be a lat pull down. So this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to take it. I like to wrap it in my thumbs here. I think it's a little bit easier to hang on to. I'm going to sit. You guys can stand though. If you're standing, hips tucked, slight bend in our knees. I just want you to be able to see my entire body. So hands are going up, shoulders are pulled back and down. From here, I have very little tension, just enough so that it's not all floppy. My shoulders are back and down, my core is tight. I'm then going to pull that band apart and bring it to my clavicle. And then slowly release and come back up. And then we're going to go again. What this is doing is this is activating those muscles that run kind of along that sports bra area, down that rib cage. It's activating those muscles in our back. These are our lat pull downs. So our lats are the big muscles that run down our side. So if we're standing, you won't be able to see up top. Hips tucked, core tight. Pull as far as you can, engage and release. Each time you come up to the top, I do want you taking a little break just so that we have full engagement. Because what will happen, we don't get full engagement, this is what this is going to look like. And then there's just no engagement at all. So make sure you take your rest at the top, shake it out for a sec, bring that band a little closer, and then reset. Any questions on upper body? Perfect. Okay, so we are ready for the workout. We are going to be doing 30 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest, and we're going to go through that twice. So all the upper body moves I taught you, we're going to go through twice, and all the lower body, we're going to go through twice. In between the two circuits, we will take a 1-minute break so I can kind of go over the moves again. So let me get my timer up. We are first going to start with our lower body. That was the first one, and we're going to start with those lateral walks. So take a seat, get yourself ready, put that band around your ankles. If you're not using bands, get yourself set because you're still going to move through this as if you have a band on with slow and controlled motions. So I have my band on. I'm going to start the timer. I'm going to turn the music up. And 3, 2, 1. Hips tucked. Step and control. Try to keep that core tight. If you are stepping super far, you need a tighter band. It should just be a little bit. I probably should be using my medium band. I also practice these pretty frequently because I know the importance of them. We have 6 seconds left. Keep that chest up. Keep that core nice and tight. Slight bend in our knees, hips tucked. Good. 15-second rest. We're going to go into our zigzags. So that's where we're going right together, left together. I'm going to go at a diagonal here. In 3, 2, 1. together. Left, together. Good. See how I'm staying tucked? Not over. Everything's up. Remember, once you get to your end point, you can go backwards or you can turn around and go forwards. Backwards is where we want to, our toes usually want to flare. Woo! I can feel it in those legs. I can feel it in the hips. 3, 2, 1. Good. Sit to stand or squats. We're bringing that band up above our knees. Straighten it out. Get ourselves set. Knees and toes point the same direction. 2, 1. We're down and up. Nice squeeze of those glutes on the way up. Engage our core as we lower. Exhale as you stand. Good. Try to keep eye contact. If we feel like we're starting to fall forward, take that band off if you have it on. If you don't have the band on, go back to those sit to stands. Get yourself really good at those sit to stands, and then we can move into this air squat. And relax. Down to the ground for our glute bridge. If you would like to pulse, you are welcome to, or you can just do normal glute bridge. 2, 1, press the lower back in, push through, squeeze, and back down. 1, 2. Good. Think about that nice engagement. I'm so used to counting out my reps, I apologize. You can be on however many you want. I am quality over quantity. You get 2 done in this 30 seconds, awesome. You better be the best 2 of your life. 3, 2, 1. One time is done. Make your way back on up. Move that band down. Back to our laterals. Hips tucked, core tight. We're going in 3, 2, 1. Step. Engage. Good. Remember, we don't want that foot dragging. I'm moving to my left. My right foot should be picking up and meeting it right back at where we started widthwise. You also don't want those feet snapping together. Your ankle bones will not appreciate you. Good. We have 5 seconds left. Keep going. 2, 1. Bring those legs together. Shake it out. Zigzags. Go out to the right, together. Out to the left, together. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Slight bend in our knees. Hips are tucked. We should feel this right here in that lower core. Good. Awesome job. Keep going. We have 13 seconds more. Keep it locked in. We're almost there. In 3, 2, 1. Good. To take it back to basics here, I'm going to be doing sit to stands as reminders for you guys. You can do air squats or sit to stands with or without your band. Knees and toes point the same direction. Ready and begin. We're up. Or if you're doing squats, you're down. And my bench is probably going to move away from me. I can already tell. Good. Make sure if you're doing these, you have a supportive surface behind you. Awesome. Nice engagement. Work on that control in that body. Remember, these bands are meant to increase strength and get your mind and body working together. 2, 1. Down to the ground. One more 30-second of work, then we have a rest before upper body. In 3, 2, 1. We're up. Nice squeeze. Last 30 seconds of work here. Good. 15 seconds left, then you have a break. Awesome job. You have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. have 1 minute here. So in this minute, you guys get to just relax, hopefully shake your legs out. You should be feeling that through your glutes, maybe down the sides of your legs, maybe even some hamstring or some quad. So kind of keep that in mind. Where did you feel it? Was it somewhere that I did not just mention? Were you feeling in your lower back? If so, drop a back in the comments and I'll reach out to you and we'll kind of assess your form. I just want to make sure that you're doing those correctly. Pretty easy way to jump on and just make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to do. So, upper body, we are going into tricep press downs with one side, tricep press downs with the other. Then we have our bent over rows or our standing rows. Those are where we're pressing the band out and we're rowing out and back in. And then we have our lat pull downs. So those are our technically 3 movements, but we have to do both sides for a tricep. So we're going to start with our triceps in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Good. Nice strong engagement. With these, you always, I don't always show good practice. I like to rock with my lower body a little bit. But hips tucked, slight bend in our knees, really focus in on that tricep. Remember, however long it takes you to press down, it should take you the same amount of time to come up. 3, 2, 1. Good. Just for teaching purposes, I'm going to switch to my long band so I can show you guys. We're going into triceps on the other side. So my right hand's at my chest, my left hand is down. We're starting in 2, 1, press it on down. Good. Hips tucked, core tight. Remember to breathe. Keep that chest up. Good. You should not be clenching your butt. That's something else to think about. Your hips are tucked, but your glutes are not clenched. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. 15-second rest. We're going into our bent over rows. I'm going to turn the music up. Good. We have 5 seconds. Get your band ready. Maybe you're using your long band this time. I'm good at that. You're going to do the same thing. Shoulders back and down. Constant pressure. Maybe you're using body weight. I'm good with that. You're moving your body in the way it's intended. Intentional movement, creating muscle memory. Eight seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good. Lat pull downs. For this purpose, I am going to use this band so you guys can see that. But you're using your mini band. Thumbs are through. I'm going to sit so you can see me better. We're up. 2, 1. Pull down your clavicle and back up. If you're not sure what your clavicle is, those are those bones that sit right here that kind of stick out, depending on who you are. That's as low as we want that band. We don't want that band down here. Right to that clavicle. Strong squeeze in that back. And back up. If you don't have a band, you're still moving through. You're still going to build strength in those shoulder blades. Good. Rest. Back up to the top. Tricep press down. Second time through. I know I'm starting to sweat a little. Woo. We have 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Press and back up. Good. Lock that elbow in. No chicken wings out there. Keep it nice and locked in. Hips are tucked. Core is tight. Glutes should not be squeezed. They should just be there. A lot of times I get people that over squeeze their glutes when they don't need to. You have 3, 2, 1. Good. Take it out. Other side. And 3. Oh, almost. 3, 2, 1. Lock it in. We're going. You probably are feeling that one arm is maybe a little stronger than the other. Completely normal. Same thing when we do band work on that lower body. Going to the right may be easier than going to the left. You can see my shoulders. See how they're still relaxed? I don't want to lose your neck. Keep them back and down, nice and relaxed. 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Rows, either bent over or straight, with or without weight, with or without resistance. Your choice here. We have 3, 2, 1. Nice strong tension. If you're in this hinge position, think about pulling your belly button to the spine. This is a little bit more important than when we stand. I know I say engage that core a lot. Well, I only say it because it's very important. We have less than 10 seconds, you guys. Keep it up. Only one exercise left here. 3, 2, 1. Stand. Awesome. Shake it out. One more exercise, little debrief, and then we are out of here. So get that band up. Once again, I'm going to sit so you guys can see me a little better. And 2, 1. Core is nice and tight. We're down. And up. Good. Remember, when you're at the top, you can relax for a second because I want good, strong pulls. So that means you have to relax for 3 seconds. Awesome. That means you have to relax for 10 seconds. Fine. I want strong engagement each and every time. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let me shut this timer off. Grab a quick drink of water if you are with me. Woo. I'm going to turn that off. That's perfect. So, how'd you guys like it? If you're watching the replay and you participated, or if you're watching live and you're participating, let me know. Did you like it? Was it good, bad, easy, hard, just about right? Let me know. What this is doing is the more input you guys give me on the intensity of our mini workouts, the easier it is for me to figure out when I program something for this. If these are too hard and you're like, Morgan, come on, you're killing me. Or if you're like, Morgan, I should have been laying down doing this. Let me know that. I need to know from you guys where we fall on the scale. So, kind of to wrap up here, mini bands, super important, super cool. They are one of the things that I travel with almost all the time. I will also travel with a jump rope, but I always travel with my mini bands. You can get them off Amazon I have a post coming Saturday at 9 a.m. You guys are going to, so look out for it. You guys will be getting a mini band and resistance band workout. It's a 30-minute, I think it's actually 28-minute workout that you can do right from your home. Any of those moves, I do encourage you, if you don't have bands, still work on the muscle memory of what our body's doing. Because until we learn the tucking of our hips without squeezing our butt tight together in the nice athletic stance, it's really hard to progress. So I just encourage you to even practice this. You're gonna feel that, we're gonna start strengthening. So on top of that, you are also going to be getting some links. I am a sucker for some cheap Amazon finds. If you are an Amazon shopper, these links will be of use to you. If you're not, let me know you're not and I'll find you different links. This brand right here has performed better. I like these bands. I find they're the more higher quality bands, but I also use them with people who take them on and off, and these bands rip quickly. Resistance bands do. If you are a single household or you know your own, there's going to be very little use to them, and not like at a gym. You can get the cheap. I think they're less than $10 for a pack of like 5 mini bands on Amazon, and they even come with a bag. So get the cheap brand. They are going to be perfect. You don't need to spend the $25 on 5 bands. You can spend the cheap on them. You are still going to get the same effects as just using the band itself. I also attached on Saturday, be looking out for a link to resistance bands of different weights. Resistance bands are also awesome. My bag of them is probably like this big. And if I know I have room in my suitcase, that will be the next thing I throw in. I will unless we drive somewhere, I don't take weights. I do mini bands, resistance band, and jump rope. It's about all I take with me when I travel, and you can get a lot done with it. So I know things are starting to open up more. There's more traveling happening. Maybe it's just even to a different house that you have, if you have a lake house. So keep that in mind, that you can still get effective workouts in without having to have weights or slam balls or TRX, whatever it is. So be looking for that on Saturday. For today, I want to say thank you guys so much for joining me live on Facebook, live in the group, or watching the replay whenever you get to it. Thank you so much. We do have a new member in the group. Her name is Taylor Locke. So congrats on a new member here. We are excited to have you. Woo, woo. I am going to ask you guys, if you are, when you were watching the replay, or if you're still watching now, I want to know, what was your biggest insight from this? Was it the workout? Was it what to do with the bands? What was your biggest takeaway from today's training? And as always, if you guys need help, or you have a certain injury or a certain pain point that you're wondering if these bands would help with, drop help in the comments. I will reach out to you. We'll just have a little conversation so that I can say, yep, these will help, or nope, they won't. And if they will, we'll try to assess and get you on a program for that. Quick and easy. So yes, Zoom classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday and Wednesday are at noon. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, my bad. Monday and Wednesday are at noon. Thursdays at 5:10. So our next class is tonight at 5:10. If you guys have any questions, as always, please let me know. I'm here to help you and serve you. And if you know anyone else who would be interested in this group, invite them. I would love to keep growing this group and have new shout outs each week. So happy Thursday, you guys, and I will see you next Thursday.